Hello everyone, this is Robin the Delta Crafter and welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you some fall inspired ink blending combinations using the newest Distress ink color, Crackling Campfire. I'll be using original Distress inks as well as oxides. Let's get started. Tim Holtz has just released a brand new Distress ink color called Crackling Campfire. And since I've just recently gotten into the oxides, I had to purchase the color. I wanted to purchase the color in both the original Distress ink color as well as in Distress Oxide. And I'm going to be using both of these colors in the combinations today. By the way, these combinations are inspired by Christina Werner's fall combination video that she did. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the combinations. In this video, I'm going to do 5 different color combinations. The first 4 will be with Distress inks, and the last combination will be done with Distress Oxide inks. So for this first combination, I'm going to be using Wild Honey, Crackling Campfire, and Walnut Stain. So these combinations, these colors are going to give us a kind of moody kind of look, and we'll look at that in just a moment. But before we get started in that, I wanted to share with you how I keep my Distress Oxide combos on a binder ring, and I punch a hole in the corner, and I keep those handy so that I can refer to those when I'm making cards. The paper that I'm using today is Neenah Classic Crest Solar White in 80 pound, and the size or dimensions of the card I just showed there are 4.5 by 2 2/3. I think it was 2 3/4. I'm sorry. So on a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, I can get 6 of the cards out of that regular size piece of paper. So here I am going in with the Wild Honey, and you can see that I'm going in kind of heavy-handed at the top. I like the golden kind of fall color that the Wild Honey gives. And I'm following up the Wild Honey with the Crackling Campfire. And you may notice that I have changed tools that I'm using. On this instance with the Crackling Campfire, I'm using the original Distress ink blending tool with the domed sponge applicators from scrapbook.com. And so I really like those domed applicators because they hold a lot of ink, as well as they don't catch the edge of the paper quite as much as other applicator pads have. So I really like that. So as we finish up this combination here, I can definitely see this being used for campfire or any type of outdoor scenery. So now we're moving on to our second combination. And so for this combination, we're going to be starting off with the Crackling Campfire. Then we're going to move into Aged Mahogany, and then we're going to close out this combination with Dusty Concord. And a little bit of a fun fact here. I took a class that was taught by Tim Holtz several years ago. And he told us in the class that at that time, the Aged Mahogany was the most expensive Distress ink to make because of the properties and the materials that are used to make this ink. And it is a beautiful color, but he shared that tidbit of information with us, and I thought that was pretty neat information to have. So I've laid down the Crackling Campfire, and now I'm going to be coming in with the Aged Mahogany. And as you can tell, my Aged Mahogany ink pad is a little bit dry. I have had some of my Distress ink pads for well over a decade, and Aged Mahogany is one of those that falls into that category. So I need to order a re-inker for this ink pad and get it nice and juicy again so that the color shows like it's supposed to. So I've gotten my Aged Mahogany down. Now I'm going to add some Dusty Concord. And the Dusty Concord is also kind of falls into that category. I need to get the reinker for that as well, and get the color back up to where it should be, nice and juicy and with better coverage. But I'm able to get enough of the Dusty Concord over here to get a good blend between the Dusty Concord and the aged mahogany. Going to come back in and dig deep in that ink pad and grab a little bit more of that aged mahogany to lay down to make sure that my blending is sufficient and well covered. So here's this second combination, and I think it is just beautiful. I really like that one. So third combination, and we're going to start off with some lighter colors, and we're going to end with the crackling campfire. We're going to start with antique linen, excuse me, antique linen. And then we're going to come in with the tea dye and finish out with the crackling campfire, like I said before. So antique linen is what I kind of think of when I think of vintage photos and sepia tones, maybe even black and whites that have had a lot of time to age. Antique linen comes to mind when I think of when I see it, and I think of those types of photos and that type of memorabilia. The tea dye, you can see here there's a little bit of a difference between the tea dye and the aged mahogany. I'm sorry, the antique linen. What I'm kind of reading with the tea dye is a little bit more pinky peach. I don't know. Tell me in the comments below, what does the tea dye ink color, how does that read to you when you use it? And then so I'm going to come in with the final color of the crackling campfire and add that to the bottom. And I definitely see this as kind of giving me the desert vibe with the dusty, sandy earth and then a vibrant, fiery sky. The fourth combination that I'm doing here today is including the latest two colors that have been released in the Distress Ink combination. So Speckled Egg was the latest color released just before the Crackling Campfire. And the Crackling Campfire is the most recent color that was released. And then I'm going to use Chipped Sapphire at the bottom as our third color in this combination. So the Speckled Egg, I loved it when it first came out. Still love it when it first came out because it was just kind of a bluish green kind of color that I definitely took to. I am all about the sea tones and things, ocean tones and things that remind me of the sea and give me that tranquility kind of sensation, and Speckled Egg does that for me. So we're going to come in and add campfire in the middle, crackling campfire in the middle with the Speckled Egg, and you can see right there that it gives you, when you blend those two colors together, it kind of gives you a little bit of a brownish, sepia tone-ish color in the middle. And that doesn't bother me, but for some people that may be a concern for them in this ink blending combination. And so if that is a concern for you, you may want to go with a lighter orange, orangey color, or a true orange color like Carved Pumpkin, or maybe even Spiced Marmalade to see how those combinations come together. And if that gives you a different feel right there. But for me, it doesn't bother me. And as a matter of fact, this combination is kind of giving me some Native American kind of vibe with the artifacts and the blankets and just the patterns that they use in their textiles and the colors that they use is giving me that kind of feel. So now we're moving on to the fifth and final combination. And this is the combination that uses the Distress Oxide inks. So we're going to be using Fossilized Amber, Carved Pumpkin, and the Crackling Campfire. These color combinations kind of give me a little bit of a candy corn kind of feel. because they just remind me of candy corn, of the colors in candy corn. And so I'm going to come in with the fossilized amber first. And one thing I want you to notice, if you've never used Distress Oxide inks before, look how well they cover. There's such a deep coverage and deep tone to the colors, and that's because of the hybrid properties of these inks. These have properties of both dye inks and pigment inks that allow for them to perform and behave the way that they do, which is totally different than Distress Oxides. And you can get a lovely, lovely blend with the Distress Oxide inks. They're just gorgeous. You can even tell the difference in how they are performing and how they lay down on that glass media mat. Lots more ink layered on there. So here's a close-up of the blend, and the blend is flawless between these two colors. It just comes out perfectly. So that rounds out the 5 color combinations that I have for you today. Here they are all displayed together, and you can kind of see what they all look like. I hope this video has given you some inspiration for fall backgrounds. If it has, I would love it if you would share any ideas or crafts that you make with these combinations by tagging me on Instagram or Facebook. You can find me on both platforms at The Delta Crafter. Until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day and enjoy. Bye-bye.